1944 is a day that you all know as D-Day. It was the Western Allies' amphibious assault into Normandy, France, that successfully created a second front against Hitler's Third Reich. And arguably the most famous battle that was fought on that day was the Battle for Omaha Beach. Now, each of the nations that participated in the invasion were assigned different sectors or beaches that they had to assault and capture. And one of the two beaches that were assigned to the Americans was Omaha Beach. Now, the units that the U.S. used in the invasion were the 29th U.S. Infantry Division, the 1st U.S. Infantry Division, three companies from the 2nd U.S. Ranger Battalion, and the entirety of the 5th U.S. Ranger Battalion were used in the assault on Omaha Beach, with the other three companies from the 2nd U.S. Ranger Battalion used to assault and capture Pointe du Hoc, a German stronghold that held 6 155mm guns that could obliterate the U.S. forces once the landings began on Omaha. Units from the 101st U.S. Airborne were dropped pre-landing behind German lines and were tasked with disrupting German communications and preventing the Germans from bringing in reinforcements by capturing vital bridges and roads that the Germans would use. Now, almost everything that could have gone wrong with the landings went wrong early morning. For one thing, the U.S. aerial and naval bombardments overshot when the bombardiers dropped their loads too far inland and the naval officers fired their salvos too high and overshot the beach. This left most of the German fortifications standing strong once the landings began. Another thing was that the Navy overfed the troops who participated in the invasion, and as a result, many of the troops were seasick by the time the landings began, and their fighting capacity had been reduced almost 60%, and many of them ended up drowning in the surf as they struggled to come ashore. Many of the landing craft had also been blown off course by the rough English Channel seas that morning. This resulted in widespread confusion and panic once the landings began and troops were assaulting the beach. It took over 6 hours for the U.S. to break through the German fortifications, and this only happened when groups of American soldiers, using improvised planning, captured and broke through weak points in the German line and used them to bring in reinforcements and take the stronger German fortifications until the battle was over and the beach was secure. It took several more days, however, for the Americans from Omaha to link up with the Americans from Utah and successfully establish and secure their sector and create the stronghold in Normandy that would bring in fresh Allied troops and lead to the invasion of Western Europe that would ultimately lead to the downfall of Hitler's Third Reich and the end of World War II.